Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. In this video I'll be summarizing my first few days in Temporis. Now I've been playing this game like a crackhead, like an addict for the last 3 days. I think I've got like 20 hours of footage in the last 3 days. Every time I wasn't working or sleeping, which I didn't do that much, I was playing this game. And luckily for you, I recorded everything. So we'll get right into it in Carnum, the beginning. And I began, just like anyone else, shooting arrows at different mobs and finally getting my first scroll. After that, I thought, yeah, it's time to go do the dungeon. So I went and beat up Snowwolf with my amazing damage spells. I mean, I think I did like a full 10 damage there. This will get more later on, but now I had a good 10 damage every time. It's a great balanced spell. And it will get even more balanced later on. Then, after finishing that, I finally got into the tower. Looking at these fields, I will see these fields for a long time later on, but more on that later. Then you had the first kind of like fight animation stuff. They all made all these new kind of fights where you're playing as different kind of characters, a paladin, and this time you had to beat up some sheriffs. It was quite fun, actually quite nice to see something else like this. And then opening my first spell scrolls. What would I get from this? What kind of cool spells? Well, I got a level 70 spell, Wild Grass for the first one, which was useless. And then I got Cinderita, which was Summoning Cat, which didn't do any damage, but yeah, I could tank some hits for me. Then I arrived at the fields, in which I started killing lousy pigs, and I did not stop until like level 80. There was a good XP, and it was actually quite easy to fight them. So I've been doing this for quite a while, and it will get easier and easier later on as we go. Afterwards, I had a first-hand experience how OP Panda was by getting kicked in the face by Tis for about 160 damage while I was doing quite a 20 damage a turn. So that was a good revelation over there. Anyway, we started killing the crabs and then going to the sand dungeon and killing the big boss shark at the end of it. After the pigs interlude, which happens every time I just level there it quickly. This will happen many more times later on. But after that interlude, it was time to do the next dungeon, the Shepherd dungeon. This dungeon took a long time. I think I started at like 1 AM, finished at 2 AM, and this was all when I needed to wake up at like 7 AM in the morning. So sleep was not on my schedule anyway. And after this, I had the craving for just one more small thing. I was already imagining the next build, and that build needed something more. My adventurer set needed an upgrade, and I needed a Prespec set. So what did I do? I spent the next like hour or something hunting for a Prespec set, taking more time of my sleep as I went. But luckily for me, I ended the day strong by dropping my Prespec cape with full stats. 30 wisdom, 2 damage baby. Starting off the second day, there were all kinds of new floors unlocked and all kinds of new challenges. So I wanted to highlight this challenge for a little bit. The point here is to go symmetrically, so opposite on the other side, and end up at the green tile. Some people were having struggles with this, but I just counted the tiles every time and then just started on the other side. Also, you can disconnect. It was quite buggy the first few days. It's still buggy, but I eventually made it. Then, of course, I followed it up with killing some pigs. I had a new build, 23 damage and also 8 AP. So I could do the craft spell 2 times now, being able to kill 1 pig per turn. This revolutionized the pig killing industry and then made me be able to kill so many more pigs and gain so many more levels because I now also had to increase wisdom from the Prespec set. So I was able to kill a lot more pigs, gain level 50, which means my spell upgraded, and look at that. 4 times 70 damage at level 50. That's amazing, and that is an AoE. That's also crazy. So I used this to go and do some dungeons. The first stop was Field Dungeon, which got cleared quite fast because of my new powers, AoE and also lots of damage. It was great. Then afterwards I dropped my first epic scroll. I was so hyped. Yes! Dropping scrolls is great experience in Temporis, only the thing is that I dropped a aggressive bramble, which kind of sucks. But anyway, it was still an epic scroll nonetheless. Then afterwards, the next dungeon was the big ass gobble, the royal gobble, and we beat that quite easily. It actually didn't get damaged that much. It was easy fight. And then level 60, which is great because then I could equip more items. Oh, I could equip the Gelano if I had one. Then it was trying to beat up Batman with my bird, which is beating up a bird with a bird. 2 birds, 1 stone. Anyway, that was quite a nice experience, quite easy dungeon as well, didn't do much, but the bird really helped. The bird is an amazing summon, and if you're still wondering, get the bird summon. I don't know what it's called, but it has the bird icon on the bottom right. Go buy it. Then, of course, this was followed up by another pigs interlude. I was killing pigs at a proficiency never seen before. And this is, I think, almost the last time that I'm actually hunting these pigs. But I did it for like 60 to 70, but we're just waiting for half an hour. My teammate was just doing some marketing stuff, and I was just waiting around. So I thought like, yeah, why not just put on some music, kill some pigs. And yeah, that was basically what I did for the last half hour. Then afterwards, I did the Smith dungeon, or well, I got carried through it by Astro and Adobe. Thank you for carrying me through it. Then afterwards, finishing this dungeon, I got to level 70, and this dungeon has this chest at the end where you get like a random amount of commas, and I got like 8 or 9k, which was great at the time. I really needed the money because I was broke. And at this moment, the lack of sleep really got up to me. It was 2 a.m. I needed to wake up at 8 again. So the last day I didn't really sleep that much anyway. So I needed to hit the bed. And that was the end of day 2, level 70. Good progress. At day 3, I started off with a challenge, soloing Scarleaf dungeon all by myself, which was quite difficult. And probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't have my summons, because they really tanked a lot and also did quite some damage as well. Anyway, after that I went on with Broquette. Quite an easy dungeon if you do it with a group. Also, it has great blue drops if you want to get some commas. The level 100 gear also sells for around 5k a piece, and they drop like flies in that dungeon. Then I spent way too long coloring my character just for me to choose a shitty color anyway. Then I did some other wine mobs, which was quite disappointing because a lot smaller mobs were already taken. I did the blob dungeon not once,
Another one,
not twice,
another one,
not even thrice. I did it all 4 times
Another
back to
one.
back, and I dropped a ton of loot. The loot, the XP, it was insane. At the beginning, I was like level 72, I think, and at the end of it, I was like level 95. And I had so much insane gear because all of the gear and spells that I dropped, I sold all of it and then used it to buy new gear. And at the end of it, I had 11 AP and 4 MP, and I was level 95 and ready to go for Red Dungeon. Red Dungeon wasn't that difficult. I had 2 amazing teammates. Sellers are OP, by the way, and Osas, you know Osas, they give insane buffs. And it all ended with me being level 100. It was a great ending to the Red Dungeon. After that, I swallowed my pride and spent my last 30k just on the helmet and wings for going to the Moon Island, because I had a plan, I had a mission. I wanted to get some Caracaps. One for myself would be nice, but actually I ended up selling them all because I ended up completely wiping every map. I actually did so many mobs. I think I spent like an hour and a half at 2 a.m. just spending and just doing these mobs and getting 4 Caracaps, which I ended up all selling on the market because they weren't really better than my head, and I didn't really need 13 IP. I already had 12. So I think my AHF with 1 range was quite a lot better. And also, just a side note about my complete decimation of Moon Island. Kra at level 100 is broken. It's completely broken. You're only supposed to be able to cast a spell 2 times, but you're able to cast it 4 times. And with 12 AP, you're just casting it 4 times each time and doing the 60 damage buff, which is insane. That was the end of day 3, and we come to the present, which is right now. I'm day 4, I'm editing this video. It was a long video to edit, but I really thank you for watching through the whole video. I really appreciate it. Also, just the community has been amazing with my videos. I really want to thank you guys. Also, special shout out to Time Well Spent and Astrognome. You guys have been streaming the whole time as an English community, also making this guild. It was a really fun experience just being in the chat with you guys, chatting, and also fighting with you guys in some dungeons. It was fun. And I still want to play this weekend a lot, but I'm also going to play some Diablo 4. The weather outside is great, so I'm probably not going to play that much today, and also need to finish editing this video. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.